I need a friend for the days when I'm feeling blue, and friends don't come better than you. I know that you got my back, girl. My man, tell me what's cooler than that. And if you ever need a thing, brother, let me know. 'Cause you know I'm always ready to roll. I know that you do the same. I wouldn't want it any other way. Hey, I can always count on you. You can count on me too. Hey, I can always count on you. You know that you can count on me too.
Hey, I'm Gregory. This is Theorematic.
Can't get a hold of you. Tell me what you're hiding from. There's nothing that you can't get through.
I got into music pretty much the age of 4. I think it was about 4 or 5. Both my parents are musicians, so yeah, I couldn't really avoid it. There was music in the house, and they had me playing instruments as soon as I could kind of hold one. So it was really, yeah, from then I was like just surrounded by it, and then started playing in bands when I was about 10 years old. I picked up the drums then. And pretty much from then that it just kind of rolled. I started picking up other instruments, and then by 15, 16 I was starting to produce tracks on a pretty basic setup at home, and then I decided I want to start taking it a little more seriously.
Last October, on an average day, everything just flipped over in a heartbreaking way.
It kind of, yeah, it varies from song to song. It won't necessarily be me just sitting down like with a guitar, coming up with the whole lot. In fact, more often I've been trying to get in the studio with a whole bunch of people and just like keep things open, you know, not just say, right, this is how I write, this is my approach, and I'm not going to deviate from that. So sometimes you come up with something much more interesting if you sort of, you know, relieve a bit of the ownership from yourself and let other people throw in some ideas that you couldn't come up with. So I mean, a lot of what motivates me is just like the feel of the musical ideas we're coming up with, and usually I'll kind of create melodies and find the inspiration for what the song should be about within that. But I mean, I'm just motivated by feel, like the pocket and the feel and the groove and everything are really important. I guess that's just because I've come from a instrumental background. I was playing instruments before I was singing, so it comes in stages, I suppose. I mean, it might just be a really simple idea for one line, or it might be like a bass line or a drum groove or something that will come first, and from that it just kind of, I don't know, it's just piece by piece usually the way I write. It's not necessarily like, right, I've got all the words and now I want to put music to it. It doesn't really happen that way with my own stuff. Often we'll just go in and we'll just think, right, let's just start putting down, you know, some sort of drum track. I'll just pick up the bass or the guitar and start playing along with that. And then I'll usually get behind the mic and just start singing 10 minutes of gibberish, not even real words, and then suddenly like the actual feel of something will creep in, and then some melodies or some lyrics or that sort of thing will come to mind.
Forget what you know, just know that I'm yours for sure. And I can understand how I feel. It's like nothing compares to holding you tight.
Yeah, so the EP was done. That was released last August. So next is the full-length album. So it's going to be, I guess, between 10 and 12 tracks probably. It's pretty close now. I mean, like I'd say about 70 or 80%, and still working on new material. So trying to just get the strongest combination of tracks that we're happy with. But yeah, that's on the way pretty soon. I think since the EP, there's been a slight, not a full kind of departure stylistically, but since putting that out, we've definitely been thinking a little more of like where we think the album and my music and soul should all be going. So that's all been thrown into the melting pot. So I want it to kind of be the sum of all its parts. So it's like all my influences and all of the approaches and all of the people working on it. I want all that in there. So it'll have a sense of modernity to it as well. All the old school influences will be apparent, but we're not saying, right, we want it to sound like a 70s soul funk album, you know. We want it to sound like a modern soul album. And if that means some tracks are like tracks with 3 guys in a studio like they would have done back in the 70s, but then throwing on some drum machines and different approaches, then that's what we're going to do. So it's just kind of being experimental with it.